Welcome to the Jon Gil Podcast Show. And on this episode, we are going to be talking about the 5 main reasons why 2021 is the best year to invest into real estate. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and please hit that like button. I'm going to be talking about the 5 main reasons why this year, 2021, is the best time to invest into real estate. And we're going to get right into it. So, number 5, the interest rates are still super low. I know, seems obvious, but it's true. When I was a loan officer back in 2007, I can tell you that the interest rates were about the ones that at least I was seeing and originating, which was in the subprime market, were around 8 to even 10%, believe it or not. Now you're still seeing interest rates at 3.5%, 4%, 5%. Obviously, that's going to vary with your credit score. That's going to vary with the down payment and also the property type, right? So a single family home is a lot more or less risky than a mixed use multifamily property, say. And in any event, you're still going to get super competitive low rates. And that also has that's also helping out the prices right now too. So if you are a seller in this market, you're going to want to go ahead and take advantage that the rates are still low because, your property values are higher. Now, us as the buyer, if interest rates are to increase, that might take, it will take a hit on the values of our properties. But as long as we continue to see these competitive interest rates, I think we're going to be still fine for some time. So, so keep that in mind. Take advantage of the low interest rates. And secondly, even if you lock in a very low interest rates right now, keep in mind that the rents are still going to appreciate over time. So that's something that is going to help out the appreciation of your property type. Even if the interest rate does happen to go up slightly, the rental rates are going to have to also adjust for that increase as well. I mean, that's just the way that the market works. It always gets passed down to the consumer. And in this case in point, that is the tenant. Number 4. So long-term real estate appreciates, right? So you're going to want to definitely buy today because tomorrow, guess what? Prices are going to go up. And I'm not talking about, obviously, and within 48 hours. I mean, it could. But I'm looking at like that 3 to 5 year time frame, right? So in 3 to 5 years, you're going to have wished that you had purchased today. And it beats putting your money into the bank, right? Where you're only going to be getting paid 0.02% a year, something ridiculous. So keep that in mind. That's going to actually lead me to my number 3, and that is that real estate continues over the last 2 centuries has created over 90% of all the millionaires. All right. So it really is the best way to create wealth. And it still is the way that has paved the way for most millionaires today. All right. And I know it's not about the money, but money does create comfort. It creates a lot of security for your family, and it allows you to then go on and take advantage of other things that do bring possibly more meaning to your life. So quickly, I'm going to segue into something else here. There's a lot of people that say, well, money doesn't mean everything to me. That's okay. That's okay. But it still is a necessity of life, right? And why not have that part down so that you can then do whatever it is that brings you happiness and fulfillment? Is it helping? Is it giving? Is it providing to charity? So, there's a great book called 10X by Grant Cardone, and he says that actually making money, building wealth is your duty, obligation, and responsibility. It's those 3 things. You have to have it because it's the only way for you to help others. Keep 10% of what you make. Give the other 90% away if that's what you want. But as long as you can, bring in the cash flow, that allows you to make an impact and meaning. And that's not to say that that's the only way, but that definitely helps substantially, okay? And I'm just talking common sense here because we all know that. But again, it does continue to create millionaires, so keep that in mind. Number 2, passive income source, and it forces you to save for retirement. So it's still a great way for passive cash flow. You don't have to quit your day job. You still have it as a retirement nest egg. And 2 things are happening when you purchase real estate. One, you're creating cash flow, right? What is cash flow? Cash flow is basically all that income that comes through the rents, right? Subtracted by your operating expenses, your mortgage. That's going to leave you your cash flow. It's going to leave you what you're actually taking home, what you're putting in your pocket after all of your expenses. So it's going to help you, create that cash flow, which helps for retirement, obviously. And 2, it forces you to save, right? Because at the end of the 30 years, say you have a 30-year loan, or there's a lot of people right now paying off their mortgage in half the time by adding paying additional principal to their mortgage. So you can actually pay it off in 15 years just by following that model. And, it forces you to save all that additional money that you'd probably been spending on liquor or on bad habits, clothing, just food. Food's a big one. I know that's a big one for me. I mean, that was probably, it's embarrassing. But anyway, I like to eat even though I'm super skinny. I don't know how that happens. But in any event, you want to have that cash flow to help for your retirement. So, and, it's paying down the assets. So you've saved up. If you bought the place for $300,000, okay, say at the end of the 30 years, guess what? That $300,000 is yours. Yes, you paid interest on it, of course. I mean, the bank has to make money, right? But you get that $300,000 back. And do you really think that in 30 years, that asset that you purchased is still worth $300,000? I highly doubt it. In about 30 years, that thing's probably going to be worth 3, if not 5 times more than what you paid for. So you get your savings back, you get your $300,000, and then who knows, maybe you get back, $9,000 or $1.2 million. Who knows, depending on the area. Areas tend to rise. I mean, it could be in an area that hopefully doesn't fall. I mean, that can happen too. That would be the risk. In any event, you still have your $300,000. You still have your cash flow, and you're good to go for your retirement. Number 1, and this is why really 2021 is going to be the best year to invest into real estate. There is going to be an influx of distressed commercial real estate. And by that, I mean, you see it, right? A lot of retail centers, a lot of office buildings are having a lot of trouble because their tenants have left. Shops are closing down, and the owner can no longer afford to pay that mortgage. Well, someone else's loss, unfortunately, and it's tough, but someone else's loss is your gain, and now would be the time to buy those at substantially reduced prices. You say, well, I don't know. I don't invest into office buildings. I don't invest into retail. Well, you know what? Doesn't matter. You should definitely consider it, because say that building was selling for $300,000 and now it's at $150,000. The economy is going to eventually go back to normal. I mean, it's just, look at what happened. You go back to the Spanish influenza. I mean, things eventually picked back up. I mean, we've had so many rise and falls, and we rise back up after the Great Depression, after World War II, Vietnam War, the oil crisis, the stock market crash of 1989, the .com bust, you name it. There's rise and falls, and so you want to take advantage of that dip, buy low, and sell high. And we have a very fortunate position now because we have, at this point in time, who knows when this is going to happen again, right? I mean, there's no telling when we're going to have another crazy global pandemic. So anyway, now would be the time to buy. So those were the top 5 reasons why. Hopefully you can all share with me some of your great acquisitions in the comments below. Please subscribe to the channel if you can. Hit that like button, and thank you so much.